You got 15 minutes for some fortitude today, Parker?
Dude, I got 15 years for fortitude. Come on, man.
Damn, bro. That's a long time. Well, let's do it then.
That's not
14,
long
15.
enough. You should have fortitude till you die.
Fortitude. Is that the name of your new rap group?
Fortitude till you die. That's a long name.
You could make it work.
All right, that's my album. How about that?
That's your album.
My next album. I'm dropping a new album. Fortitude till I die.
Till I die. I love it. Well, Elevation Nation, it's Thursday, which means you got fortitude coming your way. 15 minutes, you're on a commute, you're on the treadmill, you're on a bike, walking to work. Pop us in. Listen, we're going to enlighten you on a topic that I think hits close to home for many people, one that I struggled with personally this week, which was separating my work from my life. I had a really rough Monday at work. Got beat up, had meetings back to back for about 9 hours straight, had a lot of things, a lot of comments thrown at me. Stressful work day for sure. And when the day ended, it didn't really end because I just had to take a break to cook food while I was working and on calls and listening because it was dinner time already. And the struggle was having a really, really rough start to your day, rough start to your Monday, and then trying to unplug and unwind at the end of a Monday night. So that was a struggle for me. My mentality, my mindset was not the best. I will admit, I poured myself a glass of red wine and I sat on the couch and I watched my Dallas Mavericks and Jalen Brunson absolutely annihilate the Utah Jazz, which helped put me in a better mood. But it was hard. It was hard to unplug and turn my mindset off. Even going to bed, my mind was wandering through comments, some passive aggressive things that might have been said to me during the workday, things that maybe upset me a little bit or that I took too personally. And it was hard to put those thoughts out of my mind because my mind started instantly rushing to, well, what do I need to do Tuesday to fix these problems or to address them or to figure them out or what's outside of my control that I can't really deal with. And I won't lie, Parker, it's stressful. It's a stressful thing when you feel that pressure of work and it carries with you into your bedroom and into your sleep and into your personal life. How do you handle that, man? You're in the people side of business. You know this all too well.
I mean, you know, Sam, that this is not the first time you felt this way. And I think it's abnormal that you do feel this way because I feel like generally you do have a good work-life balance, right?
Yeah.
Or you think you do, but it sounds like it's not really the work-life balance piece. It's not like someone saying, Sam, you got to work all day till you go to bed. And I need this to be done. And then we wake up in the next morning and then boom, right back to work. And your whole entire week becomes work. It seems like you're having a little, or at least in yesterday, you were having difficulty differentiating between work and turning work off and enjoying life. Even though, you watch the Mavericks and that seemed like your nice little piece of the day that you got to enjoy and be happy, I guess. But let's talk about that for a second, because I think you should be happy throughout the entire day, regardless if it's a stressful day or not. There are moments in the day that you can still find happiness and joy and fulfillment. So I'm curious from your end, what's your working style look like? Are you just, you write a list of things you got to do and it's like bang, 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 and you just keep going until it's done and the list is exhausted? Or is it you're working and then you have a meeting and then you take 2 minutes and then you're back to work? Like, what's it like for you?
It's a great question. I think one of the reasons why I was extra stressed yesterday was it was straight through of meetings back to back for about 6 hours, right? And so that made it a pretty decent challenge to get the things on my list done. Typically, I have some pockets where I could be productive and knock some stuff out, but I already was in meetings and then hop into the next meeting, and they gave me work to do and feedback from that previous meeting, and I had no time to address it until the evening. So I think that was a little bit of a stressor of not being able to actually execute and do stuff, which probably caused me to take some of that anxiety with me for that evening.
Do you find yourself energized in those meetings, or is it like I'm hearing the same thing? Like what?
It's a good question. I think recently it's been a little bit draining because I'm leading this project, the eyes are on me, and I'm kind of the one leading almost every single meeting, which can get exhausting, right? If you're listening in on a meeting, you can multitask, you can take notes, you can listen, you can kind of relax a bit. But when you're leading a meeting back to back to back on different topics and you need to be on, that's tiring. It's a tiring grind. So that was a struggle definitely yesterday for sure.
Interesting. So I think it's very unique that you brought this up as the topic of the conversation for Fortitude and 15 today, Sam, because yesterday I was thinking about this concept of work-life balance. Work-life balance. If you're listening to this right now, you've heard that term before. It's a pretty general term, right? We use it all the time. You've probably seen on the news, work-life balance, COVID, this and that. Work-life balance is everywhere. We all know that term. But my thought was, you know what? What about the work-life imbalances in our life? And those are very common in today. And why? Why do we put work before life in that phrase? You know, maybe because it sounds better or whatever. But think to yourself, are you putting work before life in the way you balance out your day? So I was thinking about that, Sam, because the work-life balance is something that we all know very, very well. But there oftentimes are days, weeks, months where we feel like the balance is not in balance at all. And it's because of little things like meeting, or work, or something comes up in your personal life or this or that. It's really difficult to balance the two because every day brings something new. But I was thinking about going about the imbalances maybe in a new way. Maybe it's taking a step back and writing down what is putting you in that imbalance. And is there a way to bring it back into balance? Like what brings you balance in your day, Sam? Is it being able to go to a meeting, learn, and then take an hour to kind of think and be creative and ideate a little bit, then go back into a meeting, and then maybe taking a walk for lunch? Like that sounds like a good day, right? It's in balance, right?
It sounds super balanced. It sounds super unrealistic. I haven't done that in a very long time. Taking a walk in the middle of the day. That sounds lovely. I'm going to try to do that. Maybe I can take some of my calls on a walk. I can sneak out. That's what I need to try.
But why wouldn't you? You have to be on camera?
No, it's because I have to share my screen. I got to present stuff.
Are you the only one on your team on the call then? Like, can someone else present, and then you can walk and talk and I'm just
I don't know. It's an interesting thought. I guess I put a lot of that pressure on myself just in the role that I am in currently, right? Like I'm kind of the leader of the team. So you do some of those things. So maybe I need to become more effective at delegating some of those responsibilities and assignments to other people on my team to balance out the effort.
Well, that's up to you and that's up to your team. But I think back to this work-life imbalance piece, it just oftentimes it is in balance, right? It really is hard to find the balance, but there's pieces that we can do better in our personal life to create balance. There's pieces that we can do in our work life to create balance. But I think personally, life should become always before work, because without life, there is no work.
It's a damn good point, man.
If you want me to be completely honest. So, I am completely honest about it, and I know you're in firm understanding of that, too.
Yeah, I mean, and it's even less, to be frank with you, it's less of the work-life balance to me. It's more about the separation in your own mind, right? Like, even when my work was done for the day yesterday, turned my computer off, I was done working. It was, how do I control my mindset and my thoughts and my emotion to deal with, the negatives that I had in my day, right? I got, beat up by people yesterday, it felt, and a lot of different things thrown my way and critiqued and criticized and things going on. And how do I, one, not take it personally because it wasn't directed at me. It's not like they're saying, Sam, you're incompetent. They just had questions and critiques on some work.
No, but it
right?
feels that way because
It does.
it's your
you
work.
put your heart into your work. Exactly.
Yeah.
And so that's obviously, why I took it a little personally.
Well, you just care.
And you care, right? And it's a people business. We're leading people. So yeah, I think caring about it and wanting to do a good job makes you think about your work outside of work hours. I mean, I make this story sometimes on the podcast, but I will never forget my first work nightmare that I had on my first project at EY when I had a dream about that team telling me that I messed up or telling me I did something wrong, and then having the realization that it was only a dream. But the fact that I brought that anxiety home with me at the end of the day freaked me out, man, and scared me. It's a scary reality when all of a sudden you're not dreaming happy thoughts, you're dreaming nightmares about the place where you work. That's not good. But it happens. Not all the time. It happens. Like forgetting to put on pants when you go to the office.
I like to think that my dreams kind of help me understand where I'm really at, like in a mental state in some capacity. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's almost your subconscious, like telling these things. Like last night, I dreamed about the Ravens in the AFC Championship.
Sounds like
woke up pretty
dream.
happy, honestly. Been a pretty good day. Yesterday was pretty good. Everything's cruising, right? Other days, dreams are a little bit more different, like work anxiety, maybe something I'm anxious about in work or not, or
Yeah.
But I think that's a little snippet. Look at your dreams and see if where you're at.
Taking your nightmares home with you, yeah.
Because you're not thinking when you're sleeping. It's just happening, right?
100%.
All right, I got a quote for us today.
All right, Parker's perspective. Let's hear it.
All right, it's said by author Cheryl Strayed. And she talked about the trap of self-pity. Quote, nobody's going to do your life for you. You have to do it for yourself. Whether you're rich or poor, out of money or raking it in, the beneficiary of ridiculous fortune or terrible injustice. And you have to do it no matter what is true, no matter what is hard, no matter what is unjust, sad, sucky, things befall you. Self-pity is a dead-end road. You make the choice to drive down it. It's up to you to decide to stay parked there or to turn around and drive out. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's tough because while I think you can always take action, I don't always think you can fully control your mindset in every situation. I think you can work on controlling your mindset, but I think sometimes it gets the better of you. Yeah, I mean, we're obviously a mindset forward podcast, and I think you can put in work, but we're not at our maximum capacity for mental fortitude mindset. It's not like I'm 100% have a mental fortitude mindset. Some days I'm off, some days I'm bad, some days I don't feel like elevating, right? That's just the reality. When I try to do it all the time, I know I want to strive for that. Just like a monk who meditates, man, they're not always in that perfect trance state. They try to be, they work to be, they're trying to get to 100%, but they're not always there. I'm reading Jay Shetty's book right now, which is why I brought that up. I know you've read that.
Yep.
Right? So I think you can take action, sure. Do I think you can try to work on your mindset, take mental action? Of course. Can you always control your mindset fully, which therefore controls your emotions? Not necessarily.
I think when it comes to self-pity, if you're feeling bad for yourself, if you're sitting in your room and saying, why did this turn out this way, blah, 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 look back and realize, why did it turn out that way? And is today the day I can change this? Is today the day I'm going to at least turn the car around and start to push forward? Because at the end of the day, we all know, or I hope you think you know, that the only person who really, really is going to make that change is you. You have people, family, friends, support that will be there to help you along the way, but they have their lives to drive forward, right? At the end of the day, the decision needs to be made with you. The mindset needs to be shifted. And then that's where true elevating starts. Mental fortitude right there.
And until next week, Elevation Nation, peace. It was a beautiful ending.